You're recording? Oh, I thought you were pressing the red button. So
we're recording.
The red button looks like it's orange now, but...
We ready?
Yeah, hit it and let's go.
Let's fucking get after it.
Episode 8.
Welcome to the Sneaky Par Show, where amateur hacks try to balance shitty golf between careers, dating, marriage, and everyday life. Over to you guys.
What are you laughing at?
Every week.
The numbers you have on the screen?
We haven't even started yet. Welcome to episode 8 of the Sneaky Par Show. I'm very impressed. We're at 2 months in on this one. A little late today. We had to go pick up Chi-Town at his house.
Which was an adventure.
No, it was. We had.
Why is that?
I went down the wrong street. I had to turn around. It was a little.
Did you try to cut through the stockyards?
No.
I almost had to
That
text
gets you
you and
every
get your
time.
address.
Yeah, I was so proud to not put you in the GPS. I'm like, nope,
I was like,
I'll find this house.
This is my south side. I know where he lives.
I
Like,
know.
do you?
I know this hood. I've been at 1,000 Sox games. I got Brian back in the studio today.
It's good to
which
be
is
back.
great. He's
I missed you guys.
Yeah, we missed you too. But
That virtual experience was a debacle.
Well,
Yeah.
we're going to make that better.
Now I know how these poor kids feel. You learning.
Right. There's 3 adults trying to figure out a podcast and just failing.
Poor kids.
At one point, we had to mute them. That's probably what happens all the time with the kids.
Absolutely. But Brian today, I mean, usually wearing kind of golf gear, some vest or something like that. But Brian today, he's got like the
laundry day.
He's got a deep V.
He's like got like I'm going out tonight, hitting the town look.
It's a cute top.
What's going on, big guy?
I am hitting the town tonight.
Okay, what do you got going on?
Chicago shuts down.
Again.
Yeah, right.
You know, assuming that, so I'm gonna go up to PB&J. Got a new place that opened up there, and
Name dropping.
So if it's not too busy, right? Like if there's outdoor, if it's a perfect scenario where like there's nobody there. Sorry, PBJ, not perfect for you, but perfect for me.
Yeah.
I got some buddies up there. We'll go and grab some drinks.
No, I'm debating. Like I really like that shirt, and it's got a little hint of dadness in it. The button down collar and the short sleeve look to it. Like I like the pattern. I think it looks good. I think for a 70-degree October night, it actually might be perfect.
I mean, I'd procreate.
Nailed it. I like that.
I'd procreate with you.
Wife did not approve.
Do you have
like
do you have a date with a man or a guy, or what's going on?
date with a Chicago fireman tonight?
Oh, good luck with that. Hopefully it's
Apparently, he's hot.
interesting. You got Daddy D to my left here. He's got the classic vest. I don't think I've seen that vest before. Is that a new one?
Yeah, no, I've had it in the back in the closet.
Okay.
They're representing Chicago Highlands today.
Okay, nice.
So everybody saw
Big episode today. Really excited. We have a guest today. Guy we've all known for a very long time. Very fun, very energetic, very funny man on the show. And I'm not going to put... He's listening right now, and I'm not going to put too much pressure on this guy. We call him PW. It's his initials, but we can call him Pitching Wedge, whatever you want. The last time we had a guest on was the highest downloaded episode of all the Sneaky Par shows in the last 7. So I don't want to get you nervous, but you're going to have to live up to some expectations. I have no doubts that you will out-download.
I mean, with his connections,
Oh
there's
my
no
gosh.
doubt.
I mean, they're probably downloading now if they just heard he's going to be on the show.
Is there a country club he's part of that you can
No.
trick members to listen to?
P-Dubs doesn't rock country club.
So are
He
you
doesn't
going to
need country
compare his numbers to the podcast before the Highlands podcast, or you can compare the numbers because we've grown exponentially since then? Are you going to compare his numbers to
my brain
last
hurts
week's
from whatever you're talking about,
podcast?
Brian. It's just too much. All right, let's.
It's called an outlier.
Yeah, let's just. I'll make a formula in
Just trying
Excel
to make
for
it
whatever
fair
you're talking
for
about.
P-Dubs.
No, it will be fair for Pete. No,
All
right. So quick, let's get into the numbers. And I haven't told you guys what I did the other day, but
I caught on to something, and you said, don't worry about it.
so I figured that I'm not going to be able to grow organically any of the social media platforms.
You went Click Farm?
No, Brian.
Sorry,
Did you hear?
I shouldn't interrupt
Did you hear?
Can you mute him in studio, please?
Did you hear
'Cause
him
can.
say I?
I.
Yeah.
What? Did you guys go out and try to figure this out?
I thought we were a team here.
Okay, well, I am paying for it. So,
Okay, now that's fair.
all right, keep going. All right, so I figured I cannot grow organically. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all the downloads. It's just we don't have the time with full-time jobs. It's just not. It's not in the cards. Yeah, I wish it was, but I can't sit on my phone for hours on a day trying to figure it out. So I went to some places that I use, and I'm not going to reveal the secrets of the Sneaky Par show just yet. And I was searching for a social media manager, somebody that can manage all the social media accounts. And, you know, had a lot of people respond back saying, I can do this, this, and this. went through them all, and I found one that I liked. So was talking to this person, kind of did a half-ass interview. And then one thing I told this person was, I want to grow organically. I don't want to click farm. I don't want to pay for users, right? We're not doing this for money right now. It's a hobby. Because I guess people can sniff that stuff out real quick about it. So she's like, well, I'm going to use this strategy and then this strategy and then this one. And I'm like, holy fuck, like, do you, girl? So we got her working social media, got her going. Yesterday was the first time that she came on board. Instagram, which we've been stuck at that 3% for a long time. We went from 314 at the last episode to 368. 15%. We're in double-digit growth, boys.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
Thank you, Peter.
I mean, wow. Right?
Right?
And that's pretty good considering that you and I couldn't figure out how to set up my Instagram account so you could share one of my posts.
They still can't. I don't know what's going on with that. But, I mean, we're double-digit growths. I put you guys on the PIP week 2 or week 3. We've responded. And, 3% to 15% growth. I mean, nobody's going to be upset about that, guys. So appreciate that. Twitter, which was our nemesis, was 1%, 0%. Twitter grew 13%. Another double-digit growth, fellas. So,
Man,
whatever's going on, this person is doing what they need to do, and it's working. Facebook, I don't think that's really their jam part of it, but I'm more concerned with the Twitter, Instagram than I am with the FBs. And they don't do YouTube, not really their thing. So I'm going to get a separate person to just increase our YouTube subscribers.
Watch the videos over and over again.
cash are we throwing out here, bro?
Yeah.
I thought we were I. I thought it was
I.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
It's I.
exactly.
It's all about you. You can do whatever you want.
I'll discharge it to your corporate cards. And then the downloads, big news after last week is I got the notification we broke a 500.
Oh.
So I got this thing.
yeah,
They're like party
congratulations.
poppers.
Yeah.
Going.
Oh,
I saw
I'm sorry,
that.
we
Saw
got
that.
500.
No, it was you.
That was you.
Well, I can give you guys access to the site and you guys can follow the stats
Not
too.
interested.
Okay, didn't think so.
busy.
Yeah. So 500, got this big thing. Be proud of yourself from the site that we use. So, I mean, I'm seeing double-digit growth in the 3 out of the 4 main categories that we care about, and I'm going to say I'm impressed with the work we've done. I think our message and hopefully our content is resonating with our listeners, and I think it's only going up from here.
Congratulations.
Well, now that I know, you should told me before you're looking for a social media manager. I got a buddy who runs all the sales for Sprout Social, like the #1 social media
Sprout
management platform.
Social is how much, Brian? It's like $2,000
Well,
a
I mean,
month
the
for our stuff.
person
Oh, yeah,
would
it's your money.
use that kind of,
We're not
would be an
even in
agent.
the Sprout Social
Okay.
realm of stuff for
All right, sorry.
our followers.
Thought you wanted to go big.
I'm with Chi-Town. We should go. You should invest in that.
In one of the podcasts, didn't you have a conversation with a social media manager?
I did, and she told me that I couldn't afford her. So
Okay.
And she was right.
she was right.
Is she still right?
I mean, we can't afford her. It's just we don't want to pay her. So this person's
You
doing
don't
well.
wanna pay.
I got this. We have this person on a kind of a trial basis. It's a weekly retainer type of thing. We're going to see what she can do. We're going to start doing some ads out there. I was looking at some pricing. You can reach almost 7,000 to 15,000 people for $60.
She local? Chicago girl?
I won't. No, she's overseas.
Does she speak English as her first
yes,
language?
she does. Yes, she does.
I'm
It's
like
just-
south facing window or no?
and listen, I saw the people that were starting to follow us and this and that. And initially, the first 2, I'm just
Were there Cyrillic in quality? Of their
somewhere,
letter?
and then I sent her a note. I'm like, hey, like we need to target people in the U.S. that like to golf, that have something to do with golf. And she's like, oh no, absolutely, absolutely. And then I kid you not, all the new followers, I was looking at a lot of
I
them.
looked at them too,
There
yeah.
are people in the States that follow golf, that are golfers, that golfed in college, that are trying to.
What could she
do something.
possibly be doing?
Dude, there's some like formula that they use, some like white glove treatment. There was, I think they go search like
Do
the
they?
hashtag golf and then see what's on there. And I don't know. I'm letting her do her thing, and we'll see where it takes us.
That's
Like I
what
said,
she's getting paid. The
Yeah.
7 dinero, whatever.
she's got
lira
3.
she's getting.
I told her I would pay her for 3 weeks, see where it takes us, and grow it. And my one thing was I don't want it to be fake. We don't need it to be fake. Because we have full-time jobs where we get a salary and we get paid commission. We're not trying to make money
Sometimes.
quickly here. Sometimes, yeah. A lot of goose eggs.
We've clearly
A lot of goose
proven that.
eggs
We've
here.
been around since 2012.
Yeah, we have. We're sustainable here on the Sneaky Power Show. So we got a guest today. We're going to get to him here shortly. We want to get to him sooner than later for sure. We don't want to spend too much time to listen to us talk again. But if you remember from last week, we were talking about having this LPGA person come on the show. So I got her number from my friend. And he's like, hey, hit her up. She probably remembers you from Key West where we met her. And so I
She's
sent her a
like,
text,
No.
No, she ghosted me. And if there's one thing in my life that I hate more than anything is being ghosted. You can say, go fuck yourself. You're a loser. Like, don't talk to me. Like, give me something back than just
Well, did she
pretending.
even reply to you?
No.
Then it's not ghosting.
Yes, it is.
Ghosting is when you actually have a conversation with somebody and then you walk away.
This is the
She's just
43-year-old.
ignoring
This is
you.
my 43-year-old version of ghosting. She ghosted me.
She probably had no respect for you because your pickup line was weak.
She's a lesbian, Brian. Okay.
Which is okay.
Which is fine. I think it makes it.
They
It's
still respect pickup lines. Still respect.
okay, Brian. So what I'm getting into is ghosted. Darren has obviously known PW for a while. I've known him for a while. He was always been on the radar to come on the show.
Yeah.
So we're so happy he can make it today. But before we get to Peter, we want to talk about one other thing that was brought to our attention via text message. We have a friend who texted Daddy D and I last night or 2 nights ago saying, "Hey boys, I got a great idea. The apartment next to me is becoming up for rent. I'm going to turn it into a simulator location,
Golf
bachelor pad, whatever you want to call it. Are you boys in for $250 a month to be exclusive members?" Great guy.
It's not a bad idea.
Coming from the married guy. That
Yeah,
sounds
exactly.
like,
You're gonna pay. We'll tell them that you're interested. And okay, but I mean, love where his head's at. Love the idea. You know, simulator. Get 15 guys. $250 covers the rent. All this kind of stuff. And like I said, love his enthusiasm about it. I don't know if he thought it through all the way just yet. A simulator, a decent one. I was told like
Thousands.
50 to like. Well, depends what kind you
yeah,
get. Like a home one that I would pay $300 a month to join would have to be one of those like PGA ones, like not one of those you get in your garage.
Ex-golf.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah.
And so we're like, well, what about the neighbors? You got 15 dudes coming in for a bachelor party
yeah.
every time,
Tank.
and it's in
All
like
day
a
long.
residential
I'm-
building.
And like me and Marty are bringing up stuff that adults think about when you're doing that, and he's like gung ho. Like if me and Marty would have said yes, we're in there, he goes done, and he would have started the process.
Yeah, he would've
And
signed the lease.
Then we started asking questions like, I said I'm out, but tell me these details of what in means. And
It's
he's
like stepbrothers. Like, should we make bunk beds?
I mean, I go,
Great
you
idea.
have one simulator. There's 50 people, and they're like, it's wintertime. I go, and then I want to be on the golf course in the summertime. Winter months in Chicago during COVID. Yeah, get it. Sounds awesome. But then we all get in there. We have to pick times. It's exclusive. There's neighbors. You got
The
bars.
first time a neighbor hears that ping of
Oh,
a
yeah.
driver like 10 times in a row. Oh,
yeah,
it's
and I'm
over.
sure there'll be no music being played.
Yeah.
It won't be
It'd
loud.
be really
and-
quiet. We'd just study time during
And
it.
what's crazy about where he lives is there's a golf studio right like next to where he, and I have to go,
Where's he
hey,
live?
I know this guy that runs a golf
Milwaukee.
studio.
Not
He
too far
actually
from Peter.
He says, "Oh, you know this guy? This is my Chicago golf." I'm like, yeah, I know this guy. And he's just like, I'm like, why don't you just work with him to use his place to rent it out when you need a
Oh, yeah,
simulator that's
right.
already there? But
yeah.
he's a good kid, and he's actually a great guy. And what's interesting is that he's engaged and to be married, and we were just shooting shit over text, and I'm just like, so what's going on with you and the golf fiance band? He's like, well, I think the fiance wants to learn golf. I'm like, okay, well, interesting. And then I was just like, well, let's just hope she hates it, because then you're in the clear. So that's always an interesting thing is like, your wife doesn't like golf at all. Like,
Nope.
if you find a lady, girlfriend, wife that likes golf and you're going out, like, what's the ratio? Is it you go out with the boys one weekend, you got to go with her the next week? Like, how do you balance? Is it
question.
two
Good
with the boys,
question.
one with the girl? Like, can you bring the girl with the boys?
That's why you have to join a country club with a pool.
It's true.
But that means she's not going to golf then. She's just going to go to the pool.
Yeah.
But yeah, but the point is, what she
Problem
loves to golf,
solved. Problem solved. She sees the pool and she never gets into golf.
She'll be in full golf attire, see the pool. Never mind.
I'm going over there.
Yeah.
Well, I think that you'll have, though, like our friend's wife that, they go to the pool with the kids, but there's like the ladies' 9 holes. So they meet other ladies that golf, and guess what? They don't want to golf with dudes.
Yeah.
Because the way we golf, they hate it, and the way they golf, we hate that. So it's just like, all right, well, you do your thing in the ladies' 9 hole on Fridays. We'll go do 18 whenever we want. Oh, you're at the club golfing. Well, yeah, bring the kids, go to the pool. I'll meet you guys after for dinner. It's genius, Brian.
I almost got in trouble with that last night on my drinks with a
Yes, please.
PGA teaching professional at a exclusive club here in Chicago.
Daddy D was on assignment last night. Tell us more.
That
real
whole
quick.
thing, that whole conversation was brought up. I go, I don't know if I want to like date or marry a girl that golfs. She's like, oh really? Why? And like just staring at me, I'm like, oh gosh.
Unless you're really good.
She goes, why wouldn't you want to? I'm like, I'm just saying, like, I golf a lot, so do I have to invite him all the time? And I'm digging myself in a bigger hole. I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, every time I golf through work during the week and I'm going with the guys, like, I can't invite you because we have 4. And then, like, I want to invite you because I do want to golf with you. And she's like, well, I mean, I get that, but, like, you still okay golfing with me? I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Maybe she doesn't want to invite you.
Yeah,
right?
that's the point. She goes, and you go, do you think I care what you're doing? I'm like, well, I guess not.
I think people wait too long
She's like,
to join a country club. Like, they have the junior membership, stuff like that. I think you should
yeah, if I had the money,
get in.
then-
Yeah, get in early, but it's not all that expensive when you're.
Depends on which
It
club,
is,
right?
Brian.
Is it still is?
It's
The thing about it, I don't mind who I play with. If
you're under-
your pace of play is great, then I'll play with
well,
whoever.
at a country
I
club,
mean,
you have to have a good place. Well, you can't have slow people.
but-
That's
oh,
just
yeah.
what it
you know,
is.
but if people are going like, I think we had this argument about the economy of movement. Like when people have to go back to their clubs, back to looking at the ball, back to their
Well, that's
car.
why they give you 4 caddies, and
Well,
that
yeah.
leads us into our thing about caddies and 4 caddies. Is we're going to talk with PW coming up here. He was a caddy back in his day. He got actually Darren,
Yes.
Daddy D into it. So we're going to have a big caddy discussion today because I got some questions for you guys. I never caddied as a kid, so I'm going to ask you about what I've seen, what you guys have seen, some good stories. But we're going to get back to Daddy D on assignment a couple episodes because he got her to come on,
she's
which
gonna
is
come
great.
on,
So we owe you for those drinks and dinner last night. So
Oh, I
Sneaky
can
Par's
expense
got
that.
those, yeah.
Yes.
Amex cards are in the mail. I don't know where they're at. Yeah, there should be here
Or
shortly.
whose credit it's under.
I did open a bank account, so we do have a Sneaky Par bank account, and we'll be good. But we're excited to hear about that. That's great. Thank you for taking one for the team and grabbing margaritas on Wednesday.
Take one for the team. That was easy.
Nice, nice.
Marty's
So-
going out and hiring a social media manager, spending his own money. You're on assignment,
What are
golfing,
you doing, Brian?
going out on dates.
You know?
What are you doing?
Driving
not buttoning his top button.
Yeah, showing some chest there.
I'm going out and checking out PB and J tonight for the Sneaky Par podcast.
Oh, we might do one live there one day.
Okay.
I got nothing for you.
Yeah,
Guys.
yeah. Just own it, Brian. All right. Well, we're gonna come back. We're gonna grab PW on the show, and we're gonna have some laughs and have some fun. So we'll see you guys in a bit. Well, we're back, and we have the man himself, P-Dub. Welcome to the show, P-Dub.
Thank you, Sneaky Par team. No, great to be here.
man.
No, thank you.
You guys don't understand how excited I am.
Yeah.
And nervous at the same time.
I know. I'm worried about sounding good. Brian, I think I'm getting caught up on your AV cord. Can you check that? And while you're down there, can you pick up one of those PB&J names that you were dropping? Yeah, you know everybody that works there. I got it, Brian. Have a great fucking night tonight.
Welcome to the
Starting out
show.
hot.
Coming out hot.
Well, a couple of it, Marty. I don't want to steal it. 'cause
No,
I
please
know-
do.
no.
Please do. No, steal it. This is your.
If you
this
get me
is-
fired and you take my spot.
Yeah, right. I am going to have to get you a new notebook for purposes of the show.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Yes,
yes.
good point. I should have put a sticker over it. I didn't. That's on me.
Yep.
That's on me. It's rude.
Always working.
Yeah,
Always
I
selling.
am. One other thing too, I happened to listen to your prior segment on pace of play,
Mm-hmm.
playing with girlfriends, and I just wanted to comment
Please.
on that real quick.
Yes.
And I will look into the camera now because Aaron, if you download this, I'm thinking about you, baby. I love you. Oh God. Okay.
Oh, boy.
I have a situation that I need your advice on. I have a girlfriend. She's a good golfer, love her very much. She can hold her own on the golf course.
That's enough.
Did you screw up last night or something? Or what's going on? Okay, all right, keep going.
Is that why he wants to be on?
Yeah.
How long have you been dating for?
No, stop. Let him go. Let him.
One too many years. No, I love you.
All right, go ahead, Pete.
Again, she can hold her own on the course. The problem is the way that we were raised to play golf is very different. Now, I am not a good golfer, but to Dallas's point, I know how to keep up with pace of play. Whereas I find that she's labors a little bit, where she wants to finish every putt. If it's 2 inches, she's got to get above it and
Paying
finish
attention
it.
to detail.
Yeah,
Typical.
and I'm trying to move her along, and then it starts arguments, so I'm just fucked, right? So
Now, she said she's a good golfer. So if she's a decent golfer, so when I talk to my friends, and you can probably agree with this or disagree with this, the difference between men golfing and women golfing is women talk too much. No, to each other. They're like they'll sit there, they'll hit their shots, and then they'll talk to their girlfriend and they'll gab, which is fine. That's what girls do, and that's fine. But when it slows down pace with the guy, like that's why a lot of guys can't play with their girlfriends or wives, is because you hit your shot, you want to get to hit your next shot.
Yeah.
With the girls, like, oh, so what's Timmy up to in school? How's Zoom? You know,
They're
all
like,
that kind of stuff.
we paid. We can take our time.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
whatever we do.
Like they can wait behind us.
They don't
Not our
understand
problem.
it. They don't understand it.
Oh, you guys are way out of line in this. Go ahead.
I think that it's different. It's more of a lack of talking because she's so pissed at me after a hole or two that she doesn't want to say anything to me. Right?
Why is she mad at you? Because you're trying to speed her along?
I'm trying to move it along. I'm like, you don't have to finish out. You don't have to finish out every single shot. Or if I blow a putt by the hole, I'm like, I'm just gonna pick it up and move to the next hole. Off we go.
We're not 5-button.
Right, exactly. You know.
So I mean, I guess that's a positive thing. Is she's competitive. She wants to get better at the game. Do you like when you're trying to move her along? Are you looking behind you, seeing people like waiting to take their next shot, and you're like, hey, I don't want to be that guy who gets talked to by the ranger, gets a letter in the mail from a country club saying
the one
100%.
The one outing I remember it was a charity event. It's long. Yeah, people. It's a scramble, right? Wasn't that what Greg's outing that happened the first time?
That was not the first time it
He
happened.
dated somebody from work?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
It definitely happened that outing.
Yeah.
I think we're arguing over something else.
Yeah.
But I think, Marty, your point, it was a.
I feel like there might be deeper issues in the relationship.
What does your counselor say?
Personal or couples?
I don't know why I'm laughing.
It was an outing based on kind of our day jobs that we're fortunate enough to get to.
Yeah.
Very nice course, and we happened to be playing with another couple. And now I will tell you, the other couple, the female, had been this was her first time playing on a golf course. Sure. And for some reason, the ranger, because of the tee time we made, we are the first ones out. So I am just super sensitive.
You're aware.
To,
You're aware of what's going on.
Super sensitive to. We have got to keep this pace up, so we're not holding up the whole deal.
That's somebody I want to golf with.
Yeah. That's why I'm on Sneaky Park.
And Peter does a very good job because he knows he's not that good. And we do go golf. He's like, I'll just pick it. Sometimes we've been on a hole and you're like, where's Peter? Like,
let me
he's in
ask.
a cart.
Let me ask you this.
Like he gave up.
Let me ask you this. So if you're going with your girl, you hit a good drive, she's struggling, she's in the rough, she's duffing it out, or you are, vice versa, right? Maybe she's in the center and you're not. Is she or you at that point like, hey, I'll just pick it up and come hit by you because you hit a good shot? Do you get that, or do they actually want to play their own ball, or you want to always play their own ball type of thing?
I think to Darren's point, I'm the one that would be picking it up,
going to her.
going to the next cart,
yeah.
or going to someone ahead,
So
or doing like a scramble deal where she's like, to your point, very competitive, which I love about her.
Oh, it's great.
Hi, babe. But yeah, I mean, she wants to finish
Like
every shot.
Peter's picking up the longest drive he's ever had in his life to go put it by hers.
Well, you're actually making your drive in the middle of the fairway, you're putting it by hers in the rough.
Like he once had a hole in one. He picked it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's an interesting take because I think that's what many dudes and many women probably have is like, do I want to golf with my significant other? Do I want to spend 4.5 hours? Do I want to play 18? Should I play 9?
Yeah.
Right? It's always then, hey, it's sunny out. Love the sun. Grab some drinks, hit the ball, make some good contact, and it's fun. So I think this dilemma is going to be out there forever.
If you can't spend 5 hours with the girl and not argue with her, maybe it's the wrong girl.
I mean, I will be the first. Oh gosh.
Okay.
Hey, Pete, have you met Brian? Have you met
guys. Hello. Hey, you came out swinging.
Fair.
Well, let's do a
Never mess
quick
with the
toast
bull, you're gonna get
to
the
Pete
horns.
being here. Brian, tell us what we're toasting here to Pete being on the show. This is interesting.
A little limoncello in honor of the Italian Open.
You can go ahead.
this weekend.
Yeah, you can get up here.
It's going on.
Oh, you did it. Well, I guess to us. Well,
There's one over there.
you're supposed to like sip it though, right? You're not supposed to chug
Yeah,
it.
you don't.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's good.
What?
It tastes like
It's a great after. It's
just
a great
not
after
my-
dinner drink.
Yeah, it's
my,
wonderful.
On my tea.
Awesome. So, Pete, let's get some stuff out of the way real quick. You've known Daddy D for a long time. You guys are really good friends. You go way back.
January 13th, 2003.
Okay.
There's not many men that know their exact.
What time? What time was that? Like 2 in the morning? Was it-
It's probably 8 a.m.
It was about 8 a.m.
Okay, 2003, and then I probably met you 04, 05, a little bit after that.
You probably met him that year.
I might have been that year.
Because I met you through Lee.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna edit that out.
No, absolutely. Let's not do that.
I said met you through your boss.
And then Brian's obviously known Pete. We're all in the same industry together, so we've crossed paths many times. But we want to get a little into, and Daddy D and I were talking about topics, to make this interesting. And it's great that we have two guys here, Daddy D and PW, who've caddied growing up. And actually, Daddy, you caddied.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
were-
I'll explain how Peter even got me into it.
Yeah, I'd love to
Which
hear
is
it.
actually a very good story. 2008, unemployed or was laid off from work, unemployed. Didn't know what I was going to do. Luckily, I was living with my buddy Dan, cheap, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I wasn't going homeless or starving or anything. And then I didn't know, looking for jobs. It was during that recession, all that stuff. And Pete's like, I got some buddies that you can go caddy. I'm like, oh, okay. So,
So you guys were like adult caddies.
he did it growing up.
Okay.
So then Peter like made the introduction. I knew some of these guys already, but one of his good friends was the caddy master, and he's like, go out there and caddy a couple times a week. Yeah. So I went out there, and like I actually think it probably bettered my golf game. And thanks for Pete for getting me involved in it. He's got guys like Buster and Johnny and Matt and all those guys. And I went out there and I was caddying with those guys and some younger college students.
Did it help your golf game?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Really? So you learn like reading greens a little bit better, kind of where to hit the balls and stuff. What course were you at again? I think
Edgewood Valley.
Edgewood. And Pete? Well, you did as a kid, as younger. Where were you at?
So I started when I was about 11, 12, early 90s.
Oh, I was 28. Thanks.
Down at Ravissol Country Club.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. My dad used to go.
Southside
Wait, was
course.
that private at that time?
It was a small
Yeah,
private
for
course
sure.
down in Homewood where I
I know
grew
exactly,
up.
yeah.
Yep. Now it's a public track. It's a pretty well talked about public track
big time.
down on the south side.
You guys still go every year, don't most of the time?
We've kind of diverted the last couple of years where we've done like the Sand Valleys or this past trip we did kind of Southwest Michigan, but historically, we tried to get back there, try to get the old caddy crew
People
together.
love Ravissol as a public course, and you could tell like if you go there and you look at it, like it's super nice, but you could tell when it was like a country club place back down there, you're like, this place was probably the shit. And I think they were saying that all the members kind of moved out of the area, moved more to the North Shore. Because it was a very big Jewish country club, from what I remember.
It was.
Back in the day.
It was predominantly that. at
Yeah,
the
because
time.
my dad grew up down there, like in Roseland, not really by there, well, close there. But I remember him telling me, like, oh yeah, that was a pretty prestigious club back in the day over there at Ravissol.
Did you get started in it from the guys, or like your old man's like, you're gonna go carry a bag?
Yeah.
You know, it was my mom. My mom was a member of oldest of four then brothers, and they all caddied growing up. So they emphasized that I do that. And I think you had to be 13. I think I was like 11.
Lying
about my age.
Yeah.
I've,
Go get it.
I've done it in my later years in life. You know, 18, 19. No, I'm 21.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, Marty, to your point, yeah, solid course. What's interesting though, being down there is it has tended to be overshadowed a little bit by Olympia Fields, which is about a town over. You know, hosted U.S. Open in 03 with Jim Furyk, who won at that time. But yeah, no, it was a great experience growing up. Obviously, built some friends for life.
Was that just like a legacy thing while you went to Ravissol? Like your parents kind of went there and they knew it? Or why not go to Olympia and try to caddy there instead of Ravissol?
Great question. I think it was really more
Peter's
just,
ability.
I'm kidding. I tried out on the Southside Caddy circuit. Right.
He tried, he got denied.
Your home course Harvest, I didn't even let him in. And they don't even have. Go ahead.
More than anything, it was really just more location type of thing. So I was 15-minute walk from the place. You know, if I'm getting up 4 or 5 in the morning and I'm not 16 yet, didn't have to rely on the parents to drive me, and it was just right there. We jump under a fence. We try to get there early, get the best loops. You know.
Do you remember like what was a good payout for a loop?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, you start in the early '90s, and now this was also a time too when you're carrying a single bag, right?
it's
A
a
lot of
double bag,
people,
you did double bag,
people
yeah.
now are doubling.
Yeah.
You know, for a little B caddy, a little 12-year-old kid, it was $15-20 a round, right? And then
That was from the course, and then you got tipped on top of that.
No,
or that
no.
was total.
Yeah.
that was it.
That was like for 4 or 5 hours. You got, and like your parents are like, "Yep, good.
Yeah,
it's
good.
too
Go.
much."
Get out of the house.
Yeah.
My nephews are
just like
listening.
Brian is now with COVID. Get out of the house.
My nephews are listening. Like, is Peter poor? $15. It's crazy though.
Yeah,
is
you know, a
nuts.
couple years later, you're like, you go from B caddy to an A caddy, you're getting 30, 40, and then, you know, by the mid to late 90s, you know, single loop bag was about 50.
Okay.
And now I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it's probably 100, 120 a bag.
Yeah, I mean the club usually like an honor caddy gets 40, and then you tip them on top of that, which I think the minimum's 40, but you know usually give them 100. So they're walking around with a loop for anywhere from 100 to 160, depending on how you're feeling that day.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad, but I think one of the questions for you though, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but you know there's always assholes.
I'm in a small room with 5 dudes in a podcast. Yeah, I'm not on the spot at all. There's no AC in this room, Mark.
There is AC. It's right over there. We told him to turn it on, but he turned it off.
because of sound.
I always, we talked about negative bias, how people are gravitated towards negative stories, not positive stories. So I should ask you, like, hey, tell me a great story of a guy that was like, hey, Pete, you did great. Here's some extra cash. Like, I loved having you. No, tell me about, and if you don't know, we can come back to it. But like what kind of dicks, or what kind of things would they say to you? Were they just, what was kind of some demeaning stuff? Because I know at our club, for the most part, everybody's pretty cool. But there's a couple people who kind of put down the caddies, like make them feel like shit. These are kids that are like 16 years old.
Totally.
So did you ever experience that kind of negativeness from some of the I guess the members, right? Because there was members back in Rabbitsville back in the day.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I swear you didn't prep me with this because that was some of the
didn't.
stuff I was coming with. Anyway.
He's like, I got 17,000 stories.
I think the general theme is just guys that take themselves too seriously. Okay, so we had this guy named Mike the Melt. Okay? And
Mike
that's
the what?
Mike the Melt.
The Melt.
Because he was just a total.
Is he still alive?
He was a total stroke. No, I mean he was.
I'm like, he's gonna listen to this. Like,
I mean, he doesn't
fine.
know. Yeah,
There's
I'm not
nobody
mentioning his last name. I could.
You can say whatever you want. Nobody's listening.
I don't know. Look at our numbers. There's a lot of people listening. Go ahead.
He's like a 15, and he's playing with these low single digit guys, and he's trying to keep up. And he's just, if he's not shooting low 70s, he's throwing clubs. He's expecting the caddy to get it, throwing like ball, and
Should be like Mike the Meltdown.
Totally. And swearing too. And I mean, we all have thick skin, but when you're 12, 13, 14, females around too, it's like, dude, take it the fuck easy. Okay. And then the other thing too, just in terms of guys taking themselves too seriously, like you've got the guy that can barely break 100. He's coming to the course asking what it's stimping. Okay.
Hey, what's the course record?
Yeah, right.
we know guys like that, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. And then you got the guy who's maybe like the guest of like the chill guy, okay? And, or he's the guest. The member's going to pay you a set amount, so going in.
You know
what
what
you're
you're
going
going
to
to
get.
Exactly.
The guy coming in again, probably like a 20 handicap, whatever. He's not. We'd get him yardage, and this is before the rangefinders, right? So we'd have
You're
to
walking,
walking off.
Sure.
He's expecting us to have like this pro yardage book in our back. He wants front, middle, back, over this trap. Oh, how much to clear this and that. And he
Is this Mike the Melt still, or is this?
No, just
okay, just different people.
different
Got it. Okay.
people. And I mean, he wants it exact.
Yeah.
So. Those are just some of the things that guys that are just care too much about their game, and their game doesn't dictate it.
You're so right, because I was golfing the other day at a work event that we've all been used to, and this guy shows up, and he was part of the event. I didn't know him. He's like, all dressed up, got the Under Armour tucked in. He's got the glove in the pro shop. He's ready to golf, and he goes to the guy at the shop. He's like, give me a sleeve of those Pro V IXs. And I was like, and I look at him, and the guy at the pro shop looks at me, and I'm like, if you don't know it's a Pro V1X, you probably shouldn't be playing the ball. And the kid was dead serious. And I'm just like, you look like you're a golfer, but he just read some things. Pro V. Now, listen, maybe it was an honest mistake, maybe whatever, but
No, it's not.
that's to your point of these guys that take it serious. Now, I think I know the answer to this question, but I'd love to hear your take on it. I would say, who's more of a dick, high handicaps or low handicaps?
Oh, definitely high.
Yeah,
high
okay, that's
handicaps.
what I thought,
Yeah, totally, for sure. And then that I mean, not to bring up Caddyshack, but it's you can bowl a soup with that hat. Looks good on you, though. Guys that take their game too seriously, not serious enough. So
So let me get this straight. So, female, you mentioned like, there's girl, female caddies. Don't be swearing anything. So, you can't swear at the 12-year-old female caddies, but you're allowed to swear at your girlfriend when she's playing slow on the golf course. Just like,
I don't think he said that, but where did that just take it?
So Peter, thanks for
one
coming.
PB&J comment, and this whole show goes south.
Jeez, yeah, I mean,
So thanks for coming, Peter.
Sneaky Paro. It's more like Sneaky Pete's getting out of here.
so I did caddy once. And I
Time?
think it was like 90-ish, whatever. So I was at Birmingham Country Club in the suburbs of Detroit. My brother's already been caddying there, been crushing it, loves it. So I'm like, all right, I can do this. I go to P-Dub's point, $15 for the round, and there was like a $5 tip. So here I am going out golf. This guy doesn't ask me like for yardage once. He basically just
find his ball.
He knows, he knows it's my first day. He absolutely wants nothing to do with me. I was cheap. Just carry the bag so I don't have to carry him, right? So he's being a prick to me the whole time.
oh, great. This doesn't going to end well for this guy.
I'm trying, there's no rangefinders there, so you're trying to mark everything off, right? I'm trying to be a professional caddy, right? And then he's just not asking me for yardage, and he's like, what do you think, guys? Like 150, 155, kind of like talking to his buddies, whatever, and then he's just not addressing me at all. And asking, even though he saw me walk it off, like I have the yard, like I got this.
Oh, so you did it.
I'm waiting for him.
Just wait to spit it out to him right away.
To ask me so I can like just provide some value. And then so like first 9 holes, nothing. So finally I'm getting fired up and everything. He's like, was it, you think 210, 213? I just say under my breath, like it matters. And I wasn't asked to come back.
Day one.
Day one.
Did you get paid?
And that same year, my brother got Caddy of the Year.
So there's a similar one this year. This is actually crazy. We were it was right after quarantine and the courses started opening up, and Illinois was still shut down, but Wisconsin opened up. So Lake Geneva, and there were some guys that Larson, all those guys, and like, we want to play. And I forgot Wasaki was with me and some guys, and we went up there and we asked for caddies because of the whole COVID thing. They didn't have carts or something. So if you got caddies, they want to make some money. We'll carry back. They're not going to clean it, so they're going to stay as safe as they can. And so this one kid's in our group. He's like, they just told me to show up here. I've never golfed.
No, that was me. It was me, you, Larson, and
that's right.
Yeah,
You
and somebody else. Yeah.
And this kid like shows up.
No, he was like a 55-year-old man.
No, this is the kid that was in our group. This is different.
No, maybe it was different. Sorry.
And he shows up, which is cool, and he was carrying Luke's bag. Was it Luke? Yeah, I think he's carrying Luke's bag. So we get started, and he's walking with us, and Luke is carrying his bag. His own bag.
Genius is what this guy
So then,
is.
typical me, I'm just like, we're hosting, clients, just trying to play it cool. And I was a caddy, so this kid's nervous. He's never done it before. And I'm just going to play it out for a little bit. But then eventually I'm going to say something because, we're going to pay this guy money. And Luke is too nice to say anything. He just picks it up and runs it. I go, hey, man, I'm walking down the fairway. I go, why are you carrying your bag? He's like, I don't know, man. I just hit the drive and picked it up. And I'm like, well, that's your caddy, dude. You got to give it to him. So then it got to hole 2. And then I finally said, I'm like, talking to my caddy who has been there. I go, what's going on here? He's like, dude, I don't know. I'm like, well, are you going to say something? Because it might be better coming from you than me. And eventually, like, Luke's not saying anything, still carrying his bag down the fairway. And eventually, I'm like, hey, man, can you pick up his bag? You don't have to do anything other than carry it. Like, you don't have to give him yardage or anything. Like, I'll do everything else. He's like, yeah, I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, well, like, I don't know why you're walking with us. Like, I mean, it was the most insane thing. But
I love being a caddy. Greatest job ever.
yeah, so I gave him a carry bag. I made $100. Yeah. I mean, it came to the fact of tipping. I'm like, I just felt bad for him because I'd been there. Buster was always nice to me. He goes, Darren, golf, just keep up and shut up is what he always told me.
Yeah.
So I went out there my first time and just probably made $100. I'm like, this is awesome. Lost like 15 pounds.
Oh,
man.
You look as good as you do now.
No, gain that back.
Well, I mean,
Pete
Brian,
Dub.
I'm sorry, just real quick.
No, go ahead.
Kind of to that story, and then to your point, Brian, about guys jawing with you. If you get more senior guy in a course, and a course that I probably don't belong to, beyond private, something corporate event, whatever, and my game's shit, and I'm going to tell them my game's shit. Right? So, and then if they're jawing at me, I'm like, that's very fair. Yeah. So I may offer just to if I. Chili dip this P-Dub. Right? You calling me P-Dub. Like, I'm going to carry my bag the rest of this hole for you.
Yeah, but nobody's ever had a bad time with you on the golf course.
That's
I can't imagine the foursome with you is very tense, and it was pretty loose and fun.
That's fair.
Even if you're shooting good or bad, I'm sure it's a great
Do you belong
time.
to a country club?
I don't.
You should.
Oh,
you should join one.
Thank you.
And
Well,
invite all of
I want to
us.
ask Pete of this question because you mentioned earlier you would sneak on the Ravislow early to find a good loop. So you would look at the tee sheet, see who's there, and be like, "Oh, Mr. Smith is a great guy. He's fun. He tips well. I want his loop." Is that what you would do, or how would you get your loops? Because I know at my place, I don't really request a caddy, but I have my guy there who sees me on a tee sheet and he'll say, "Hey, I'm going to go out with this group," which is fine.
No, great question. I'm sorry, I probably misspoke earlier because frankly, it was getting out there early to get the earliest loop so you could carry 2 that day.
Smart. Okay,
So
got
if
it.
we're only making, like I said, 15, 20 around,
gotta do it.
and I'm 12, I want the 40, right?
Yeah.
And then you move up the ranks, and then to your point, yes, the caddy master gets the tee sheet and he's slotting his best guys in with them.
How much control did the caddy master have in terms of if he liked you? Was it like, hey, you got Mr. Smith today? He's a little tipsy. He's feeling generous.
100%.
Gold and and the caddy masters I've worked, and I'm gonna pull a Brian Schiller name drop right now. Michael Buster McNamara,
Oh, yeah.
okay, out of Edgewood. Kevin Gubitz was a caddy master down there for a bit. I'm sorry, Rob Lewis. I hate that I had to look at that. Rob Lewis was down there. So no, and our good friend Matt
Daly,
Klein.
what's that camera app? Sorry, just keep looking. He's looking down again. So sorry, Pete, continue.
Quite all right. I guess long story short,
Look at that amateur hour.
certainly known a lot of caddy masters, and they weren't, they're friends of mine still to this day. But yeah, at the end of the day, they got it. If you fuck with them, it's not. You don't want to fuck.
There's 2 things they control though. They control, if you get the good one, but they also control like the double rounds.
Well,
So,
they
like,
want to
people
give,
they like
sure.
get the
they want to
double
give the
rounds.
members a good caddy too because those members tip them, so they take care of them.
100%.
So like if he knew like the top guy was coming in and like, well, do I give Darren or Peter? Like if Darren sucks, they're giving Peter.
Yeah, I mean, certain clubs, at least 50% of their income is based on tips from members,
100.
specifically around holiday time.
So, what would you say is that a good caddy, which I'm sure you were phenomenal at 11, like how many strokes can you shave off somebody's game who's, just a low single digit handicap?
Well,
Maybe not at 11, but just say like today. Like if you went, so we go to Whistling Straits all the time, or Straits at Whistling, and a good caddy there can shave off probably 6 or 7 strokes, telling you like what to do.
Yeah.
Like when you were there, like were they wanting you to give them advice, since you were so young, or they just want you to give them clubs, rake the traps, find their balls, do that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, when you're that young, to Darren's point, keep up, shut up, and do just the busy work, right? Yeah. As we got older and as good friends of mine who are still in the industry do, I mean, it's just like, dude, not just, we can find our own balls because we're mainly hitting them straight, but it's just like, tell me where to hit them, and then get up to me on the green and just point at the spot. And if I don't hit it there, I fucked up because you were absolutely right on that spot.
My lowest round ever was at Sand Valley Mammoth, 73.
Beautiful.
And my caddy's name was Chris, great guy. And people ask me, how many strokes did he shave? Like, you don't lose balls at Mammoth, first off.
Yeah. Well, we're back.
Sort of.
If you haven't noticed, Chi-Town has turned into a better-looking, more dapper gentleman on the show. Married guys like Chi-Town don't get out that often, so he had a hall pass tonight. Said we were coming late. He has Ubered to a bar in the West Loop. So if anybody's in the West Loop,
or during our break, Chi-Town and Peter got a fist fight.
Yeah,
and Peter beat the shit out of him.
But we gave him a pass tonight to leave work early, go out, have fun, because he doesn't get out that often. So he is gone. He is out.
This is what I like anyway, the fact that he can go do that, because this isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to have shit coming up. I've already argued that.
If my buddy was at a bar and he's like, come meet me, and I'm single, I'd be like, no, I'm doing the Sneaky Power Show. He's married, gets a hall pass once in a while. Yeah. Totally get it.
I mean,
respect it.
I mean, I kind of want to go too.
Yeah. Should we just shut this down now and all go? But no, it's good because we have actually 3 people, Dally AV still here, who actually know golf and how that works. So I think we were talking during the break. We got some Jordan something story that was brought up. Guys, please explain.
Yeah, and this is obviously second, third hand, and I say that for liable reasons if MJ is listening here. But
which he probably is.
He's a big fan of the show.
Right, yeah, he is a big fan of the show. That's what your numbers show.
Yeah, he might come in a couple weeks. So
the woman you hired to make it be organic, it's actually MJ.
That was number 1 target for her.
Right.
Let's get Jordan on the show.
Yeah.
So my buddy that I started caddying with, way back in the day, we're both 11, 12, 13. He's a couple years older than me, still a good friend of mine to this day. Is looping for him, and if you know Jordan's reputation, he's not shy about being confident in his game, right? And I'll tell you about my buddy's reputation. He's not shy about drinking on the course and telling you, if you fucked up, you fucked up. To Brian's point, like he told, so. Him and Jordan are, like he's a big Jordan guy too, so like there's some respect
and
there.
a very good caddy.
Excellent caddy.
He's a caddy. He's not playing with him. He's caddying for
him.
No,
he is caddying for him. I'm sorry.
What course are we at?
I don't remember.
What year are we talking here?
5.
I like to give our listeners a little detail.
5-7 years ago. No,
that's
great.
Yeah,
it's fairly recent. This guy's been doing it for 25 years.
This guy is caddied at Augusta.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So they're probably at like White Pines or something like that. Okay, continue.
No, this guy's an excellent caddy. Good friend of mine this day, a couple years older than me, and Jordan probably playing for some money. That's an assumption.
Obviously,
that's an assumption, and. My buddy Johnny gives him a read, and Jordan blows it by. And then he looks at Johnny, he's like, shitty read. My boy Johnny looks back at Jordan, he's like, hey man, bullets don't break. And he like swooshes on him, on the green, like he's like busting his balls, like on a fadeaway. He's like, bullets don't break.
Bullets don't break with a fadeaway.
Yeah, with a fadeaway on the green.
And he said Jordan like snickered, like he wasn't mad. He's like,
well, you think, obviously we don't know Jordan.
It's like doing the shrug.
Yeah, but you kind of think he would like the trash talking back to him like that.
Right.
And so he's just saying he blew it past the hole, like, put it through the break, all that kind of stuff.
Through the break.
That's awesome.
And he's very professional. So he probably played Jordan out personality wise, what he'd get away with, and he knew he could say that, which some people were like, sorry, my bad.
But I mean, what confidence you have as a caddy? You caddied at Augusta. You've been doing 25 years. I'd be like, I don't care if you're Michael Jordan or fucking P Dub or Daddy D or me. Like, I'll give you any shit out there.
Actually, I think we have we can get a picture to post.
I would love this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great story
for sure.
Yeah. What so we went to we talked about straights. We go up there, and obviously you have to have caddies, and we usually, unfortunately, get the later tee times because we don't stay at the American Club, so you don't get the best tee times. And most of the guys are on their second loop of the day, and then their second 2-bagger. So they 2-bag in the morning, they 2-bag in the afternoon. Went up there with a buddy of ours. I don't know if I talked about this last time, but the caddy that was on his bag and my bag. My buddy, just got back into golf. He had hip surgery. I know we talked about this a little bit. And he put chapstick on his driver. Like, I saw him putting chapstick on his driver. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And the reason he was doing it was our buddy was slicing, which, a lot of golfers do. He's newer in the game. He's got a great swing.
So this is
And
the Caddie doing
the
it?
Caddie did it at Whistling Straits, which, mind you not, if you don't know, $500 a round plus Caddie plus tip. Like, it's not inexpensive. And I was like, you know what? You paid for the experience. You're not hacking it away. And he's putting this on here for his benefit because he doesn't want to walk. He's a righty, so a little bit to the right.
There's a little bit of both. I mean,
But why? But if I was, and I saw it, and I didn't say anything. If that was me,
I mean, it's the same thing, and I know this happens. Is when you're playing those courses and having a good round, you push a ball right, and it's in the shit. Those guys go like, I found it, and they're like, they kick. Depending on what type of game you're playing, they make you like they make sure your experience is good. And now they're going to know right away if you and Pete are going out there playing for money, we're playing balls down, and like no give me's. Yeah. And then if you're playing a legit fun round with client golf, and then they're like, know that they can do that. And then make your game more enjoyable.
But we're different. Like, we're out there. We'll pay that. We'll have fun. If I'm a bad day or bad day at golf, we'll have fun. I think they see a lot of people from Chicago who pay a lot of money.
Yep.
So they want to be like, I want to play every shot. I want to see what I shoot on this course. Yeah. It's a PGA Championship course. It's supposed to be a Ryder Cup course. Like, they're like, I want to play my shots. And the Caddie's like, second loop of the day, 2 bags, another douchebag from Chicago. So I'm trying to give them the benefit of that with their mindset versus where a golfer who pays, when it's all said and done, it's like $700 a round there.
Yeah. I don't think he's doing it so he doesn't have to chase it as much as making that guy enjoy his round better.
That's interesting. I didn't even think about that.
That makes a good point.
I didn't even think about that.
That's exactly that's what I'm saying. Like when they go out there and find your ball and they know we're messing around. Yeah. They're like, oh, here's your ball, Darren, and put it up, and they make it a better lie. I'm like, oh, did you find my ball right there? So actually, I can't believe it landed there.
Okay,
I saw a splash, but you found it.
That's a good point. I never thought about that way.
And does he not? He doesn't want to go chase it. That's another reason. Yeah. So there's 2 wins.
So there's multiple reasons why, and it's increase your user experience, and then
they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but so after the round, he did tell a friend that what he did.
No, he didn't know until I told him.
No, you told.
Yeah, weeks later.
Oh, yeah. And he probably wouldn't care.
No, he was mad.
Oh, was he?
Because he thought he was playing well.
Yeah.
Then, it's like pint tar.
He's ripping the ball.
He's like, I'm ready to bet.
I lost my slice at the Straits.
Now, I don't. That trick was maybe past my time, or maybe I wasn't good enough to know about.
I didn't even know about it until I went this summer.
Totally.
Oh, that's what all the Vegas hustlers do. That Vaseline on the.
You didn't improve members' lives back in the day.
Listen. I'm not saying I didn't, but to go back to the petroleum-based product being put on a driver. If there were anything that I would be using, especially doing after a double in the morning and double in the afternoon, would be you're trying to ease up that caddy rash, okay? Because you're wearing a loose pair of shorts, super hot day.
Well, that's why he had it.
You need some talcum. You need some petroleum down there. You need something,
which is a real thing.
I know.
Oh yeah,
I know.
Yep.
Now, Darren, I'm sorry to answer your question. Did I ever improve a player's life? Yes, of course. Yeah. Yeah, wasn't often. I normally let them lead on that if they wanted me to.
You'll feel now like you need some help here.
Yeah, I mean, little foot wet.
Yeah, I think unfortunately those we were at Straits years ago, and the guy was on the second loop again, and we got up there and we all 4 of us piped our drives on the middle. And Caddie's like, finally, fucking golfers I can play. We're like, dude,
relax,
give it time. This is our first drive. We're just all amped up on adrenaline to play the Straits and stuff like that. So I get where caddies are coming from. So when we went to Bandon, I mean, the caddies were fucking lights out.
Yeah,
they were.
Awesome.
The guy walked up to me and I knew he was going to be awesome. He's like, all right, you're like 230. He's like, you in this club, you guys get along? I'm like, fuck no. He's like, all right, that's why I asked. So, they just know and stuff like that. So
by the 3rd round, they're giving you your club before you're there.
Pete, to your point where, and Darren, you said this too, that a good caddy can increase or lower your scores. Can a bad caddy that you're just annoyed with make it worse?
Yeah, so that's really interesting.
Like if you're annoyed having a caddy, like, dude, shut up. I don't need you. I'll figure this out. I have a rangefinder. I know my game. Like what's...
Yeah, so that's a great point. And like I was at this nice club, Southwest Michigan, Bandon Dunes, same owner, Dunes.
Dunes Club?
No,
yes.
Yeah, Dunes Club.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No,
which again, I don't belong out there, which goes to my point earlier. There are plenty of clubs
obviously
on that I don't belong to. Listen, caddy nice enough, took care of him well enough with the tip, but I told him right off the bat, hey man, my golf doesn't dictate that you're super grinding on me, to my point earlier about like you don't need to be yardage booking me and all this. So sure enough, I get out there and literally I birdie the first hole, par the second. He's looking at me like, yeah, bullshit. I go,
hustler.
give me a couple holes. Sure enough, a couple holes later, I'm like walking off the course. I'm like, I'm done after 9. I'm good. So that, Marty, to answer your question, that experience was very interesting because he's like, he's in my ear. He's trying to like, he's thinking I'm better than I am. And I'm like, dude,
I'm not lying to you.
Like carry the bag. Tell me the read, give me some water, whatever, hydrate me, whatever.
Right. Give me some White Claws.
Make sure I'm not being an asshole.
Yeah. But then the opposite point to that is I've had guys that are out there that can read that.
Yeah.
I'm just out there to have fun.
Oh yeah.
And they're gonna feed that back into me.
Pete does a very good job of making sure that the caddies know that he's there to have a good time.
Oh, 100%.
Sand Valley.
And they probably get a lot of assholes who come up and they plan a big trip around it. Yeah. They're like Chi-Town married and they finally get a weekend away and they're just like, hey, like my caddy in Bandon, like when he found out like what the gambling games were, like, he was in.
Yeah.
Like he's like me and this other guy Pete, and he called him Pistol Pete, and like we're on the same team. He's like, we're gonna roll the like he got into the game. Which
I remember some of the other guys coming to me like, so Darren, where are you at? Like they're into it more than we are.
Too, yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, dude.
Well, didn't he say that they bet on you guys too?
Oh yeah,
the caddies bet against each other.
Yeah. Which is me. I think I don't want to say you made it, but when your caddies are betting on your 12 guys, they're just like having a great time with your group, and
that's a fun round for them.
It's a great round because they probably get a lot of assholes. We're fun. We're buying them drinks. We're buying them wine dailies.
Yeah,
and they're having a good time. And just we're serious about golf, but we're not.
Yeah.
When it all comes
I was gonna say like those caddies, they look for a Peter and a Darren and a Marty because again, I've had Shaman's been like, hey man, it's okay.
I bet you their ratio of like good experience to bad experience is probably like 70% bad and 30%.
No, I bet it's the other way.
You think so?
Well, when people go to Bandon, they expect world-class caddies.
Yeah, but again, it's like
but
it's
a
like
26
the same
handicap can't expect
no,
that.
and it's not gonna. Yeah,
but it's like the people that yell at waiters and waitresses for you know what I mean.
I think most people know. I would say that Peter, you can say it, but I would say most of them have good experience. It's a smaller percentage that's bad.
You think so?
Well, and I think, Marty, it just goes back to your question to me earlier about high handicap, low handicap, who's higher maintenance, who's a bigger jerk, right? And then my point about, who just comes into a game higher maintenance, whether it be the 21 asking about stimps or, or like the 5 just looking away to get away from his wife and have some drinks, right?
Yeah.
It's about expectation coming in.
And I've seen those single handicaps. I went to Kohler with a buddy that's, he's like a 2. And the whole time, like he's obviously, I think I'm up to 11-8 now. I'm terrible, but the whole time, all he's doing is like uplifting you. He's like, "Hey man, you got this. Don't worry about it. Like hit the next shot." Like
too much though.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't too much, but it was just like, hey, like I in my experience, I've seen that the lower single digit really good golfers that aren't super serious about everything, they're there to empower you to play better game because they have a better time if you're having fun and when they're hitting the ball.
I mean, I've had those guys where I'm like, are you trying to sleep with me? You're like, that swing is beautiful. Where'd you get those legs? I'm like, nice, cute top. I'm like, what are you doing?
What is going on?
Like,
right
you're such a good golfer. I'm like,
what are you
no,
doing after this?
I'm not.
Yeah. Was he working tip? Was he just like,
I'm like,
really?
I'm going to tip his tip. And
yeah.
No matter what,
my tip, your tip.
I'm
going
to tip you more than normal because I was a caddy. So then they get that. That's why they love the Peter and Darren's because even if
here's the thing: if he's still saying that after the round, then he's probably pick up.
I mean,
no, but their job
he still lives with me.
Their job is to empower you as a caddy for the most part, right? It's to make you confident to say, hey, your game's in there, you got it. Like go out there and do it. So when you were 11, how long you caddy from 11
is
to
that
how
their
long?
job?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Started about 11 through even my college years, so a good 10 years growing up, and then to Darren's point, when the recession hit in 07, 08, kind of got back in there a couple times.
You came with me a couple times. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I did. So about 10 years.
10 years. So how did you, not to get super serious, but how did you progress from 11 to 10 years, like 21? Like what did you learn differently when you were 21 versus what you knew at 11?
Yeah, so okay, this may sound cheesy.
No,
okay,
that's what we're going for.
Right, but I think one of the biggest takeaways that I still learn to this or apply to this day as a sales professional that I learned at 11 was the ability to look a guy in the eye, shake his hand, and introduce myself.
It's a life lesson.
Yeah,
Can't teach anyone.
Total life lesson.
He does
right,
it
so
everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere.
Do you remember people's name when they say, "Hey"?
No, he doesn't.
Oh, I do.
sometimes no. Sometimes no.
I want to play like career thing about Peter. I went to the channel before he did, and then he asked me like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "Fuck, I don't know." He goes, how do you not know? I go, you worked a deal with him last month. I don't know. And then like Peter came eventually over because then you're dealing with a much more large audience, right? And he's like, all right, man, now I know what you're talking about. Because there's like thousands of people there that you talk to and see every day that you just can't come up with it. And there's just too many to know. Yeah. And even when you sit there and say, I'm going to remember this person's name and shake their hand, look them in the eyes, I'm like, God damn it, what's his name?
You can teach that, but if you don't do it in practice, especially starting that young, that's huge.
That's where I think Caddie as a young man is
I think
important.
it's brilliant. I think if I ever had kids, which isn't going to happen, I mean, the
Hey,
first thing they can do
we
when
make-
they can is be a caddy. 100%.
I told my nephews that.
You make connections there, like you said. You learn to like talk to people. You learn like, hey, if somebody's an asshole to you, how to bounce back from that. Like what to, how to.
Do you know who one of my regulars was when they got me on Edgewood?
Who?
Greg Zeman,
Oh, yeah.
the old president.
Well, president of the old company.
And he did well. Like he actually the Callaway 60 degree that I use all the time was from him.
Yeah.
To this day.
No, it's a valuable experience. You can make so many connections. Like even some guys now at the club, like you find guys that are 16, they're young, like you were, Pete, and then you find guys that are like 40.
Oh yeah,
just doing it, and they're loving it. And
we've had friends that are this they do it, making their life on it. I mean, they're making a career and a life on it. They have to.
Yeah.
Right. They're grinding out.
Yeah. We got a number of guys to that point out in Whisper Rock, not to drop names, but Whisper Rock and Scottsdale National out in Arizona that they're our age, and that's a career, that's a profession for them.
And they probably make more money than I do.
Well, they definitely don't pay taxes. So,
Well, I mean, you start looking at the caddies like a quality of life. Granted, you're getting a good workout and you're doing a couple loops. Like all the guys I talk to at Straits, they come there, they caddy, and guess what? Wintertime comes, they go down to Florida or they go to Arizona.
Yep.
yeah, and you put straights on your resume. Yeah, they'll hire you.
They're not even a resume. They're just like Straits when it's all said and done. Like I love the course, my favorite. And I say this as a shitty golfer. It's not that hard of a course.
Yep.
Like people that are really good golfers, you can say it's not that hard. You don't lose balls there. The greens are okay, right? So I think Jason Day set the record in the major for like minus 26 or some crazy number when he won the PGA there. Yeah, it was. I guarantee it was.
Minus 26?
Yes. You want to bet on
Over
this?
4. Oh, no, I thought you meant for.
Yeah, one round, Daley. One round.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Come on, Dallas.
Mute that microphone, please.
Yeah, mute that. Edit that out.
No, we're not going to edit that out. It's,
That's definitely on.
we're going to keep that in.
Yeah,
So, Pete, I see a big sheet of notes here, which Daddy D knows that I'm a big fan of people that do prep work before the show.
Sure.
What else you got on there? Anything good? I know you're always full of interesting stories. So what do you got?
It was, and honestly, it was one of the bigger things was just kind of, talk about my background a little bit, which we did, giving some shouts out to some guys, which we knew in the industry and still know, right? And hats off to them, right? Other than that, it's just like, what you said about, what did you learn from it? And we talked about some life lessons. I'd say some things that probably weren't positive.
Oh, yes. Negative. The negative. Here we go. Let's go.
Because you love the negative.
Yeah, I don't love it. Just people
Audience
in general.
does, yeah.
He was 20 under.
This guy hit a hole in one and died.
It's like, what? It's like,
He hit the one and said, "Now I can die," and he died.
it's like if you're 16, right? 16, 17, you're living at home, you have no expenses, and you're making a fair amount of money, right? Cash money, no taxes, Dallas, to your point, off of, not a career, but a job you've been doing for 5 years. You have this expendable income. You're like, what am I going to do with this? So many of us picked up gambling habits. So, Darren,
Which carries over to this day.
I actually thought you were going to come up with something good, like investing in property.
I bought a Google IPO. No, gambling.
Bought shares of Disney when I was a kid. It was great.
And so we would, to your guys' points earlier, we'd bet on our golfers during the day. We'd get done if we weren't double looping. We'd play golf ourselves, bet on that. Then that night, we'd find a caddy buddy's house to go play poker at, like his back garage. Or Arlington Park was kind of down there. We'd go to the horses. So, I mean, just any type of, and this is before the days of the online stuff. So it's just like any type of in-person prop betting you could do was just like, okay, and these are the habits that we formed. Right.
So there's positives and there's I wouldn't call it negatives. If you're winning, it's not a negative.
Right.
But,
But if you can't get out.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Like I would just, while you said that, you're making like $15 a loop when you were a kid, right? Or
that's your first year.
Okay. I was just saying, like I cut grass in the neighborhood, and it would take me 45 minutes, and I'd make $15 when I was a kid. So, but like you said, you cut grass, you just cut grass. At caddying, making $15 every first loop, there's so much more. You're meeting people, you're talking to people, you're learning how to interact, network, all that kind of stuff. So I get
but at the time when you're 11, you're like, would you rather have $50.
Of course not. But now looking back on it, like you would never change it.
Oh, never.
Would never change it, but then Dallas, forget looking back, even now, I'd rather get $50 for nothing than $50 for 4 hours of stuff.
That never.
Yeah, that lesson
P-Dub's not stupid.
Maybe that's the big lesson you learn. You're like, wait, I don't want to do it.
You were talking about the connections that Caddie's making, all that stuff. So we used to go to Aaron Hills first, and we met Nathan at had a caddy named Big Cat. I'm gonna call it Big Cat right now. Hopefully he's listening. And met him there, and he was his regular there at Aaron Hills. Then we went to Sand Valley. He moved to Sand Valley. Then he had him at Sand Valley. And then randomly, I don't know if it was the time when we went to Lake Geneva during COVID, he was in the parking lot randomly and saw him. And then he joined us on the trip to Payne Valley.
Oh, really?
And he was a blast.
Oh, nice. Dude.
So I'm like that thing for what he met Nathan years ago playing one round. Now he's a regular every time he goes, and then moved courses a couple different times. And he knows some of the guys out in Bandon Dunes and all the other places. And then joined us on one of our big trips because we needed an extra. He's a 11 handicap. Came out there. His girlfriend came, flew a drone over and took pictures of us on the course, and she rode around with us. I mean, it was awesome.
Awesome.
Well, it's the thing is, can you be a terrible golfer and be a caddy?
Yes. Peter Watson, for example. He's standing right here.
No. I think at my club, I think I could be a better help as a caddy.
Oh, yeah.
For the people there than me as a player.
Terrible
Absolutely.
meaning like
I'm
you
sorry.
are a plus 25.
Dallas,
Yeah.
Dallas, we're not talking about on the pro tour here.
I know
think
that.
The answer is obviously no.
No, yeah.
But
No, I know. But no, I meant, even those guys who are doing the big courses, the Whistling Straits, the Bandon.
You'd be surprised. A lot of these guys don't play. Some of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
some of them
wow.
don't.
That's
Some of them
interesting.
don't.
And I
Most
think-
of them know the game.
I think, Dallas, it goes to my point, maybe not to keep up and shut up that Darren said, but just more reading the player that's there, knowing what he needs, and especially some green reading. I think that's
Yeah, you just have to be a people
that's the
person, right?
biggest thing.
Yeah.
People person, knowing the greens,
Yeah.
that's some of the biggest stuff right
Well,
there.
I think it's reading the foursome, or reading who you're caddying for. Once you read that person and know, like, all right, this is his game, this is my game. Like, caddies would always say, like, oh, well, this is my game, this is how I play, and the caddy would be like, well, this is the course. I know the course better than you. You know your game better than me. Let's find an equal ground to figure it out and win together. Now, and some people take that as like, well, fuck you, caddy. Like, I'm playing my game. I'm 220 out. I know what fucking club I'm hitting. Or, like me, I'm just like, you don't want to have a tense round with a caddy.
No.
You want to have a good round. You want to be banter back and forth. You want to have a good
It's
time.
kind of like a blackjack dealer, right? You want,
Yeah,
you want a fun
you want a
blackjack
fun
dealer.
blackjack deal because guess what? That blackjack deal is fun. You're winning. You're tipping her a lot.
Yeah.
Caddy, that's fun. You're tipping them a
You
lot
know how
more
you're a
money.
good
so.
blackjack dealer? You get tipped when you're kicking
losing,
their ass.
yeah.
When you're kicking their ass and you're getting tipped, then you know you're
I mean,
good.
you got to think about it. These caddies. They no matter what, they have to finish the round.
Oh, yeah.
So they might as well try to make it have fun and make as much money as you can by, making you feel good about it. But I mean, again, it's a sales job
Yeah,
too.
it's absolutely a sales job. So, all right, well, I think we're coming up to time. I think we could have another hour and a half, 2 hours with P-Dub here.
I
This
could
is
talk
great.
for 7
Yeah.
days with people.
I mean, if we ever don't have our day jobs, we will have a Sneaky Par underground podcast about stories that we shouldn't tell over the air, but we would. But we have corporate jobs and we love them. They're great.
You should have P-Dubs caddy for us.
Let's do it.
No way. If we're golfing with P-Dubs, he's in the car with us, hanging out, drinking his stuff. So,
Sounds like Dallas wants the next podcast from the golf course.
So P-Dubs, thank you for coming out, man.
Yeah.
We'll definitely love to have you again. This is awesome. Great info on caddy. We've always wanted to do a podcast in our first 7 or 8 about caddies and stuff, and we could talk for days and hours
Not
about
good.
that shit. So thanks for your insight and your knowledge on that. This is episode 8. I think we're gonna do a couple more for this season right before we head to Marco Island for the Masters. But we'll get this out there and we'll check you guys next week. Peace.
Later.